Okay, hello everyone. I'm Gabriele Varrasi. I'm a lawyer and professor. I'm an international lawyer. I work in the field of the international taxation, residency, passport, and international structures. Um, Thank you for being here in Lugano. And today we are doing a journey in the field of a new decentralized life. I think that a lot of people in this place and today loves freedom. And also 2,000 years ago, Cicero wrote and said that freedom is the power to live as you want. And I suggest you also where you want. And also Aristotle said that happiness depends on ourselves because a lot of problem comes from yourself. And also, the most important asset that you have right now, and also in the future, also for your kids, is the knowledge. Because with the knowledge, you can know the rules of the world, and then with more knowledge, you have freedom, and with freedom, you have happiness. In your life, you have a lot of snares that affect your happiness a lot in your society, in your friends, in your job, in your country, in your parents. If you are here, you love Bitcoin, and Bitcoin maybe help yourself to be more free and more happiness and more happy. But you can have a lot of billions, a lot of bitcoins. But if you have just one passport, one residency, one currency, one country, one wife, no, sorry. No. No, if you live just in one country, with all your assets in this country, just one currency, just one passport, one residency, I think you, in this strange and dynamic and dark world, maybe you can have some problems, especially in the West. How many of you come from the West? Outside the West? Okay. How many of you have more than one passport? Okay. More than one wife? No. One at the end. Okay. I strongly believe that where is the freedom, there is my country. And I enjoy the world and I live in the world. And so I can mix a lot of rules around the world to make me more free. And remember that the world is too huge. There are a lot of countries around the world. How many countries around the world? What? More than 200. And then if we count also other territories, particular situation, more than 220 countries or territories around the world. So the world is so huge. So you have a lot of option. And remember, more option, more power, more freedom. We will see right now some ideas that, yes, I'm a lawyer, so we work in this field, but the common people, they really don't know some of these characteristics of this idea of the countries, but it's so important. In the world, there is a rule or law about CBI program. CBI program is a program to buy a new passport, a new citizenship. I'm sorry for all of you that are sitting on the floor. Thank you for enjoy this masterclass. And so, if you buy a new passport with this program, you have the right to go in the country, to live in this country, and maybe to have the protection of this country. And around the world, there are few countries with this program. Yes, a lot of countries very small, and so in the map you don't see, but, and I don't know how is your geography, but you can see something in the Pacific Ocean, something in Africa, in the Caribbean, in the Middle East. Unfortunately, not too much in the West. But you can invest or buy something, like mostly real estate, and you can have a new passport. Antigua and Barbuda, a very beautiful island in the, two islands in the Caribbean. Botswana, it's a new in the club, just a few weeks ago. Dominica, Egypt, El Salvador, the Bitcoin passport. It's quite expensive for someone because it's $1 million, but you can also pay in Bitcoin. It's the fastest one. You can have a new passport in few weeks with smooth compliance. The other one, it's around 6, 12, 15 months, and with strong due diligence. You have also Jordan, Grenada, Mauritius, Nauru in the Pacific Ocean. You have Samoa, Sao Tome and Principe, another one very new in the club. Sierra Leone, Santa Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Turkey, and Vanuatu. A funny thing about Turkey, you can buy an apartment in Istanbul or in Bodrum, near the sea, for more or less a minimum of 400K to 500K. You can rent the apartment, you can put on Airbnb, you can set up your new residency, your new citizenship, and you can, in legally way, add a new name, Arabic name, on your identity. And so, what's your name? Abraham. And so Abraham could be Mohammed Abraham, and the surname. In a legally way, he can have a new identity. It's quite 007 spy story, but you can in legally way. And so in this country, you can have another passport. These kinds of countries, in the other hand, you can have another residency. Residency is like a license to live in a country and to enter in a country, not like a citizen, but like a foreign with a special license to live in the country. It's not a tax residency, it's a residency. If you spend more time, have something more in the country, maybe can become a tax residency. Yes, we have more with residency. There are a lot. Few seconds for a lot of photo. Okay. You have from America to Pacific Ocean, Europe also, Africa, and you know that a lot of countries, a lot of government, a lot of politicians would like to control a lot, and they would like to strongly control you. But in economy, we teach also the competition, and so the competition is very important and is also in this field. And so I think in the future always will be countries that put on the table new program for residency and for citizenship to attract people to invest in the country. because you can control the 90% of the world or the people, or 95, 97, 98, but you you need a lot of power, a lot of money to control the 100%. And so I strongly believe that in the future you have the chance to be in the 1, 2, 3% of the free people in the world. With the residency by investment, you will have a new residency. And with this new residency, if you set up in the right way, when you open a bank account, you can give your new residency, and also you can give the new passport. And later we will see the other rules of CRS. Do you know CRS? Yes. CRS, I have a slide about that. It's a common reporting standard. So your bank tells all your stuff to your country of residency. But if you have a residency in the right way, in the legally way, but you have another residency, yes, the bank do his job, but you can decide what residency you use in this case. Someone needs a photo? Okay. Okay. This is a funny story, because at the beginning, in the 60s, 70s, in the academia, the real name is tax haven, because you go in some country, in some jurisdiction to protect yourself. So it's a haven. But for the marketing things, it's better haven, tax haven. And when you read on the papers, on the YouTube, from the politician, that there are a lot of tax haven around the world. Yes, but if there is a tax haven, or there are a tax haven, because there is and there are tax hell. And I don't understand, because people also, they don't fight against the tax hell jurisdiction. Okay, it's not magic and it's not fantasy, but yes, there is zero income tax country around the world. And so you can live in this country and you can, in legally way, pay no tax. No tax, zero tax. And in some country, the most important things for your future is that you cannot share your data. Because sometimes you can live in a country with low tax, but you must share your data. And you really don't know how they use your data. I think that today it's very easy to be a criminal. With social, with data, there are some rules also in Europe. If you are a policeman in Europe, in some country, you have the access to the data of a citizen of another country, and you know that it's very easy sometimes to pay someone to have the data. Yeah, the word is too white. The real color is, I prefer the black, but you cannot see the black, so it's too white. But yes, there is a lot of country with zero tax. You have also always in the Caribbean, Anguilla, Antigua. You have Bahamas. In the Middle East, you have Dubai, Bahrain. I don't want, if you want to ask me, please, but I don't want question about Dubai, because everyone speak about Dubai. But there are a lot of countries around the world, not just Dubai, to go. Okay? You have Bermuda, Brunei, Cayman, British Virgin Island. You have Monaco in Europe, the last fortress of zero income tax. You have Qatar, another in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent Grenadines, Turkey and Caicos, Vanuatu. I put Panama. Panama is a territorial tax jurisdiction. But I put Panama because I think Panama could be a good option, because they don't care about you, and if you don't gain in Panama, you pay zero. So it's not correct zero tax jurisdiction, but you can live in Panama without pay tax. Okay, also in this slide you can see zero corporate tax. Because another point very important is to try to separate your wealth and you diversify your wealth. And especially in the south of Europe, from Portugal to Spain, France, Italy, Greece, the 99% of the people would like to be the owners of everything, owners of the real estate, owners of everything until they die. But I think in this world, it's better to control and to use your wealth, to control your company, control your trust, your foundation, instead to have the ownership. Also, Pavel Durov of Telegram, he declares that he doesn't like ownership. He prefers to have the control of all his stuff. Yes, quite wide word again, but you have some jurisdiction. Yeah, Antigua and Barbuda also, Bahamas, Bahrain, Guernsey, Vanuatu, and the other countries. I try to simplify for you, but there are also some countries that with special rules you can have the zero tax, but you know we don't have a lot of time. Okay, territorial taxation map. We have countries around the world that if you don't gain in this in that country, you can legally no pay tax. The majority of the countries in the West is a worldwide taxation. So if you live in France, in Italy, also in Switzerland, in Spain, if you gain in the country, outside the country, if you gain with your, with crypto, with your job, you need to pay tax. But in territorial taxation jurisdiction, you pay just what do you gain in the country. And in some jurisdiction, like I told you, you can also not to share your data. It's very important. Yeah, Antigua and Barbuda is one of my favorite. You can see a lot of time. Yes, but you have also Singapore, Uruguay. You have Hong Kong, Malaysia. Okay, this is very important. The CRS. CRS is the Common Reporting Standard. It's an agreement between a lot of countries in the world, more or less 99% of the countries in the world. They would like to share the data of the people of the world, mostly for control you. And so if you live in France, where do you live? If you live, I'm so sorry for you. If you live in Italy and you open a bank account in Switzerland, the bank in Switzerland send every year a message to Italy and say, okay, your name? Giovanni has a bank account here in Switzerland with this amount at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, the peak of the account, the movement. It's very hard to escape of the CRS system. But if you do in legally way, in the right way, you can mix your residency, your passport, and you can hack in some way the system. Someone say fuck, prefer hack. But at the end, I'm a lawyer and professor, I cannot say some words. But it's not easy because there is not, they are not common countries. But you can find also, for example, El Salvador. Right now, El Salvador is a country without CRS. So if you live in El Salvador, you don't have this kind of problem. But if you live in the West and you run yourself in a right way, you can hack the system. This is quite complicated, but the CFC rules that the control foreign company rules. It's meaning that if you, where are you from? Where are you from? Italy. You were from? Italy. Okay, another country in the Europe. UK. I don't know if it's better of Italy in this moment. I spent 3 months in London last year because I have a huge demand. Everyone would like to escape. Yeah. Okay. If you live in especially in the West country, and you run a company outside your country, they put the gain of your country in your name, especially if your country is in a zero tax jurisdiction. So if she has a company in Bahamas with zero tax, and she lives in Italy, Italy say, okay, you gain 100, but you don't pay tax there. You are the owner, you are the director, and so I take the tax on your gain, on the gain of your company. In Switzerland, we are quite lucky because we don't have the CFC rules. We are quite unique in the West. But again, if you go on internet and you go to a simple service provider and you open a Cook Island Trust, or I don't know, set up a company in the Marshall Islands, yes, very funny, very exotic. But if you don't have some storytelling, if you don't have something to prove, it's not working. It's not working anymore. Remember that you can use AI, but also that the authority can use AI. And so they have a booster to improve their intelligence. AI, I believe that AI can help the humanity, but AI cannot solve the stupidity of the humanity. But, okay. And remember that in the world, there are a lot of lists. They love to set up lists. You have a worldwide list. You have the European list, black list. You have a list in your country. You have the Gafi FATF list about anti-money laundering. You have a new one, the Basel ML list about money laundering. And so when you choose a country, you need to study a little because there are a lot of implications for banks and for government if you leave or set up something in this gray or black list. Okay. Other things to remember when you would like to move in some country, that in this period, dark period, you need to consider also the military service map. Because in some place like, I don't know, Greece or other place, yeah, it's very beautiful Greece, but remember that they have the military service. So if you go there and you have a son, he cannot escape from the military service. Yeah, you have some country without military service, and also a country without an army. And also, remember that in some countries in the world, also a big one like US, you have the death penalty. Remember that, and you can enjoy the new culture, a new life, but remember that in some country the rules are quite strict. Also in Singapore, they are so square and strict. Yes, today in 2025, 26, some countries reduce the application of the death law, that penalty, but they still have. Yes, I told you that the knowledge makes us free. And in this world, in this very fast and dynamic world, you need to study every day, every month. In the 80s, in the 70s, you can set up a trust and that's it. Right now, no. Right now, maybe you have a new residency, but maybe in 5 years you need a new one. You set up 2 companies, maybe you need to close and set up another one, because the world changes in a very fast way. This is my my airplane tax freedom flight, and I strongly suggest to you to start your journey, because like you saw in UK, in the last days, in France, in the last year, in Canada, Australia, you can see also in Netherlands, in Germany, especially in the West, yes. They changed the rules to control you. Also in Norway. And so all the countries around the world, especially in the West, they need money because they have a huge debt. So they really would like to tax you, to control you, to stop you. And in the world, something changed because, for example, Malta, in European Union, Malta had a CBI program, but the European Union fight Malta against the court. Malta lose, and so right now you cannot apply for Malta citizenship with a CBI program. Okay, I'm gonna explain some cases, and then if you have some question, I try to simplify with 3 cases, and we start with case study number 1. It's a husband Italian, serial entrepreneur. The wife is Chinese, crypto investor. 1 children, Italian citizenship, and a second child that they expected within 6 months. They live in Italy, they have the residency in Italy, they have the tax residency in Italy. Unfortunately, Italy set up a 26% tax on crypto, and from the 1st of January 26, rise to 33%. When you saw this kind of tax, for example, on crypto, you see that they would like to fight this kind of investment. Because, for example, in Italy, if you invest in the bonds, you pay 12 and something percent. If you gain by real estate or investment, you pay 26. So why 33? Because they don't like it. And I think a lot of them, they would like to invest in the past in crypto, but because they didn't, they would like to fight you. This is the reason. Yeah. Sometimes I read some articles, newspapers, and when you know the name and you look on the Google, sometimes you can understand why. One is famous, but I don't want to share the name. So residency in Italy, yes, it's quite common that a lot of growing instability in Italy, in Europe, also criminality like UK. 100% of my clients from London had some problem in London, robbery and other things. Higher taxation, maybe in the future ID control, and maybe exit tax. Right now, Italy doesn't have exit tax, but Netherlands, Norway, yes, you are the first. More than 10 years ago, I wrote that, in my opinion, France will be the first in Europe to set up the taxation on the passport. And if the France do, a lot of countries followed France. And yes, growing data control. And if they set up, because they will set up the new digital euro, they also control you more. And so they would like to change their life. So I try to do some examples, some ideas. But remember, it's a very tailor-made job, because all kinds of family or people, person, they have a different idea, hope, dream, and so it's very tailor-made job. But okay, residency. I put three kind of residency: Panama, the Bahamas, and Bahrain. Maybe they can set up 1, 2, 3. They set up a new one, like a new plan A. And they can set up also 2 and 3, like the plan B and plan C. For example, in Panama, it's very easy to set up a new residency with Italian passport, very easy, or with Chinese with some investment. And you have a new residency. And you can live in Panama or not. It's not mandatory to live in Panama. You just come back few days by year. In the Bahamas, you need to rent an apartment, you need to buy something, quite expensive, but you can set up your residency in Panama. You can not go in Panama, in Bahamas, sorry. In Bahrain is quite expensive because you must invest in real estate and other things. But you, like I told you, you can set up your new residency in Panama. You live in Panama or in other place of the world. You can travel, and you have a plan B and plan C in the Bahamas and Bahrain. And the beautiful thing is that if used in the right way, you cannot share your gain with any kind of country. You cannot set shares with Panama, with the Bahamas, and with Bahrain. And to have more power in the world, in this kind of world, they would like to buy the El Salvador passport for the new one. They invest in Nauru 1 times cheaper than El Salvador. And so they have Italian passport, Chinese passport, El Salvador passport, Nauru passport. And if they live in Panama, when the new child born in Panama, he received the Panamanian passport. And so also they can apply because they are the parents. So maybe in 6-7 months, they can have 3 new passports. If you use more passport, remember that to manage in the right way when you land or take off, because some guards could be quite scary if you use different passport not in the right way. But if you run in the good way, in the right way, it's completely legal. Also, if you use the Turkey passport with Mohammed something. And so I told you that El Salvador is 1 million. You can pay also in Bitcoin directly. Nauru is more quite more than 100K. Yes, someone could ask me, why Nauru? Where is Nauru? Nauru, yes, in the Pacific Ocean, a very small island. Why Nauru? Not like a plan B, but like a plan C and a passport in a completely different place in the world. So if you would like to use Nauru to enter in the Schengen area, no. But you can live and travel in the Pacific Ocean. And when you open your new bank account or you set up your company, you can use your new passport and new residency. And yes, this is the heart of our job, because you need maybe some private vault around the world for your keys, for your gold, someone for cash, for your document. And please, not bank vault, because if you use bank vault, the banks also share this data with your countries. And yes, not open a private vault in a strange countries, but there are a lot of countries very safe. Switzerland, Singapore, Hong Kong. Not to buy for me. And yes, the hard part of our job is the international structure, because you can set up a trust around the world, you can set up a foundation, you can use different kind of jurisdiction, you can use different kind of family of law. The world is divided into common law, civil law. Common law, US, UK, Commonwealth, more or less. Continental law, civil law for Europe, China, Russia, Central and South America. And so maybe it could be a good idea to set up something in one family, another entity in another family. And with this international structure, you can put the ownership of your wealth, of your asset, to other entities to separate you from your wealth and your asset, and also to plan your life and your future. If something's wrong happened to you, you have a wife, a husband, children, maybe in the future nephew. Because another thing that the people don't think, and the deaths and the loss of the capacity. But if it happens, you cannot hack the system in this moment, because you cannot do anything. So it's better to plan. Also, if you live in different countries, or if you have, I don't know, your kids that's right now, he's studying in the US, another one in UK. If you die, a lot of jurisdiction have the power and the rights to ask something from the generation and over. And so another good point is to plan your generation and over. Also, if you have 20, 25, 40, when you set up an international structure, you also can plan something for your future, also for protect yourself. Okay, the second one, a French single man with crypto asset. Have you got a wife? Okay, no answer for me. Living in London, and he loves Europe. A lot of people would like to escape, but they love Europe. And yes, you know that after 200 years, UK, we really don't know why, they cancel the resident non-dom rules after 200 years. And they lose tons of millionaires and billionaires. And you know also the problem of criminality in the UK, the migration problem, taxation problem, free speech problem, and like like a French guy in these days, maybe they can set up new rules about the exit tax for 10 years. So if you leave France, but if you leave France, you must pay tax to France for the next 10 years. If you die after, I don't know, 5 years, you pay tax also in France. And in France, the tax on inheritance more or less 50%. So if you are French, do not suggest to your father and to your grandfather to drive and to stay in the same car. Because if they die together, you lose, bam, bam, 50%. So if you had 100, you have 25. And also in France, they talk about also the new wealthy tax. And some countries in the West, they are talking about wealthy tax. But wealthy tax is for the rich people. But rich people, they talk about 2 million. But in the fair value, if you have an apartment, some investments are saving. It's not for rich people, 2 million. Okay, because the French guy loves Europe, we have also some solution in Europe. We have Italian flat tax, we have Switzerland, we have Monaco, and I don't know how he prefer, but for example, in Italy is a nightmare country about tax or bureaucracy. But right now you have a flat tax of 200k, maybe 300k, because they talk to rise from 200k to 300k. I don't trust Italy so much because they changed just one time from 100 to 200, and then they are talking to a rise from 200k to 300k, maybe with other investment or something. But if you apply, you can go in Italy, you can rent an apartment, a villa, you can buy, you can spend time in Italy or not, you cannot declare anything to Italy. And so if you go very naked in Italy, also if something's wrong happen, they change the government, you can save yourself because you do not share anything. You don't put your money, the huge part of your money in a bank in Italy. And also in Switzerland, there are 26 cantons, and we have more than 2,200 cities. And you know that in Switzerland, we have federal tax, cantonal tax, and city tax. And so you can find a good solution for you because each kind of cities, cantons, have different rules about tax, also about inheritance tax. So you can mix and you can find your solution. And also you can entry in Switzerland with special rules that it's an agreement with the authority, and they set up an amount, a fixed amount every year, but it's more expensive than Italy. Normally it would be from 300, 400k to also a big amount. Monaco, if you like to live in Monaco, could be an option. Zero income tax. You cannot share. You can not share your data, your gain, your asset. But right now you need to live in Monaco because Monaco control you, because Monaco is too small, and so they don't want fake residency. And also, if like in the past, if you take a small apartment in Monaco for 20k per month, and then you live in France, also France control you. So if you love Monaco, yes, but you need to stay in Monaco. Yes, if you have your residency or your new plan A in Europe, I strongly suggest to you to have a plan B. Because right now the West is the dangerous part of the world about tax and control. And so you can set up a plan B in Panama, not for tax, it's just a residency. Something happened, like, I don't know, a war, a new COVID time or other stuff, you can take your airplane and you can go in Panama because you have the residency in Panama. And if you are quite scary about World War III, for example, Mauritius could be an option. In the middle of the ocean, no one doesn't care about Mauritius. Mauritius is so independent. They have water, cows, a lot of things to live like independent island. And I don't think that someone bombs Mauritius. And you can buy a small real estate, more or less 375K US dollar. You can, with your small apartment or small villas, you can receive your residency. There are a lot of programs in Mauritius, also for retirement. And for protecting self, because maybe France put the taxation on the passport, like US. Right now in the world, if you are US, if you have US passport, you pay tax everywhere. France is some years that they are talking about this kind of new rules, new tax on passport. And so he can set up an Antigua passport, just a small donation, more or less 200 and something, 300 and something, or he can buy an apartment on a villa to set up the new passport. And like we told, a Turkey passport. So he can buy an apartment in Istanbul, he can put on Airbnb, and so he can gain from it, and he received the Turkish passport with Mohammed and something. And yes, like I told, for each case is the heart of the solution is this part: private vault, international structures, trust, foundation, company, more companies, holdings. And in some jurisdictions, you can also use the rules in the country. For example, also in Italy, the nightmare country about tax and bureaucracy, you can set up holding company to pay less tax when you do dividends, for example. And also in Italy, if you set up a trust right now, it's one of the easy country in Europe to set up a trust. You can put whatever you want in the trust, you don't pay tax. You can put 1 billion and you don't pay tax. So, for example, in Italy, today it's very easy to set up a trust. The last case, Canadian husband, Australian wife live in Canada, and they love to travel. We had a lot of clients come from Canada and Australia in the past 1-2 years. And yes, you know, there are a lot of problem, work agenda, and they would like to stay in the Schengen area, but also to travel. And so they can buy an apartment on villas in Greece, and they receive the residency. It's a golden visa. So they can enter and spend time in Europe, in Greece and in Europe. And then they invest something in Hong Kong. They put some money in Hong Kong, and they receive the investor visa, so they can spend time also in Hong Kong. And so they would like to divide the life. And so in January, they don't want the cold weather of Toronto. And so they prefer to stay in Antigua. And then in the springtime, they move to Greece. And then in Italy to enjoy the spring and the summertime in Europe. And then they go to Hong Kong and they start again. It's completely legal. And with this setup, they pay zero tax. For example, Antigua, if you stay in Antigua 30 days, and you pay a small amount for a flat tax, you receive also the tax certificate. So if you do it the right way, you cannot pay tax. And also you cannot share your data. So residency, Antigua Barbuda, maybe because it is the tax residency, and maybe a plan B in Panama. And to diversify the passport, maybe because also in Canada, In Australia, they are talking about the taxation on passport. They can take the Antigua and Barbuda passport, very strong passport, and remember that in the world there are a lot of association of countries, and so if you receive the Antigua passport, you will be a part of CARICOM. CARICOM is like a small European Union of 15 countries and more than 5 countries associate. So you can travel and live in another country in the Caribbean. So you do not have just 2 islands. You have all the Caribbean countries and also Belize in the continent. And they would like to diversify more, and they invest something in Cambodia. And they receive the Cambodian passport. And with the Cambodian passport, they can also invest in the land. Because if you are not Cambodian, you cannot invest in the land. It's very hard to have a new passport in Asia. So Cambodia one could be a good option. Like I told you, more option, more power, more freedom. And this is also the most important part, because every one of you, also a single man, need to think about the generational handover. Maybe with charity, maybe with some parents, families member, or whatever you want. But you need to think about it, because if you don't think about it, the rules of your country or the rule of the country where you are your domicile or your residency runs your generational handover. Okay, thank you so much. I think we have 5 minutes. There's a question.
Yeah, you mentioned that the U.S. had a passport tax. Could you explain what that meant? I've never heard of it before.
To act with passport.
In the U.S., you mentioned that the U.S. had a passport tax.
If you come from US, you have a special rules, a special way. And so one way is to renounce US passport, but you need to set up something to protect yourself, to have your option also. And then remember that when you renounce your passport, you need to pay exit tax. And so for US citizens, one easy solution is to move to Puerto Rico for some reason.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And then to start your journey with some passport, something like that. And then when you are ready, you can renounce your US passport if you want, because they ask you more times. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And but we have the client that try, and they did.
So it's basically just a tax after you renounce your citizenship. You still pay a tax for a certain amount of years.
Yeah, exit tax. It's a one-shot tax on your wealth, and yes, on your wealth.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have some best practices in Switzerland and in Europe? How transparent to show a Bitcoin wallet in the taxes? Do you have to share the address with the authorities, or is there a possibility to share a screenshot or something?
No, it depends. When you declare, basically when you declare a number. But if they like to control you, you need to share the data, and so the address. So it could be quite tricky.
Thanks. Well, just one question. In Switzerland, for instance, there is a rule that you may have only 2 active passports at a time, which great.
Yeah, there are some countries in the world that are not allowed more than 1 passport. It depends, because, for example, also China, they don't allow more than 1 passport. So if you are Chinese and you take another passport, like the case is the Italian one, because she married an Italian husband, but in practice, in our experience, they don't catch you to take out your passport, because, for example, also for China, it's better to have a citizen around the world with this passport, because if you have a Chinese passport, they also in the future they can control more you. They can ask something to you. They can ask something to the country where
Yeah,
you
but
live. And so,
looking from Swiss perspective, I don't care about China. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as I know, in Switzerland you may stay 3 months, and if you are less than 3 months, you may have tax resident outside Switzerland. Because when you speak about residence, there is a tax residence,
yes,
which is related to your center of business interests and stuff like that.
yes,
So basically, on one of solution for us Swiss, maybe you stay up to 3 months in Switzerland, and after that period you go somewhere else, but you may have only second active passport. That's my question.
no,
From
there are a
Swiss
lot of rules. There are a lot of rules around the world, and but if you spend less than 6 months, more or less, and you have you don't have the center of your business and your family in a country, you can avoid tax. So, for example, in the cases if you have Antigua tax residency, and you spend just 3 months in Switzerland, 3 months in Greece, Italy, you can maintain your tax residency in Antigua. You cannot pay tax. But in this time we don't have a lot of time. But there are a lot of rules. Each country have different rules about tax, about when you start to be a taxpayer or not. Okay. Yes, and there are a lot of solutions very super legally, and so do not do any kind of rules or any kind of solution illegally, because you can explore thousands of solutions in the legal way, and so do not follow the rules. There are a lot of rules. Maybe just last one.
Okay, so I have a question because maybe I didn't understand. But in the territorial taxation map, you said that you pay only if you gain in the country,
yes.
right? But if I sell any type of investment, or not only crypto, in that specific country, do I have to pay like the capital gain in that country?
Basically, this kind of country, they not control, or they are not too smart. And so if you have your laptop in Panama, you sell your crypto and the exchange is not in Panama, you don't pay tax.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy Lugano.